Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm very pleased to be joined here at San Jose Gurdwara Sahib in California with Sonny Dosanjh. Sonny Dosanjh has a military background and also a very close connection to the United Kingdom, to Havelock Road, Southall and the Singh Sabha Gurdwara. So we're going to meet Sonny and find out all about his family history and his story, which is absolutely intriguing. Sonny, welcome to Sikh Channel.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Can you begin by telling us where you were born? And we spoke earlier about your grandfather, how they left the Punjab on ships many, many years ago in the 1950s. And tell us about your family history.
Sure, absolutely. It's a privilege to be from, obviously, the Sikh heritage. Born in the London Borough of Ealing, Isleworth Hospital, and lived in Southall on Hammond Road, and the backside of Hammond Road is Havelock Road. So about 3 or 4 houses down from the current Gurdwara. Early memories of that and Cranford and moving to Peterborough. But my grandparents, after the World War II, one set of grandparents came to Southall and the other went to California. So kind of blessed to have the best of both worlds, United Kingdom and United States.
That's tremendous. And where did you grow up? Where did you spend your childhood?
Initially in Southall. Know those streets like the back of my hand. Cranford, and then Peterborough. I actually played for Peterborough Boys, which is the soccer team that you get picked from the schools there. And my parents helped build the first Gurdwaras there and contributed to the Sikh community. This is in the 70s. So a lot of history in that area in the 70s and early 80s. And then in 82 we moved to the United States.
That's tremendous. And can you tell us about your early career? Because you started with a career in the military, in the army.
Actually, Air Force. No disrespect to the Army. They got some great folks. But the technology and the aviation and the aeronautical reach of the United States Air Force, second to none. And so when I enlisted right out of high school, I actually had a congressional nomination to the Air Force Academy, but I was a British citizen. You have to be an American citizen to go in as an officer. So being stubborn, I turned down all my scholarships and I enlisted. So I got sent to Pease Air Force Base in New Hampshire, after Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, Lowry Air Force Base in Colorado. Started working on systems and ended up with KC-135, the Stratotanker, which refuels F-16s, F-15s, and used to land in Fairford Air Force Base.
But you were actually, did you do any flying yourself?
Part of the team. We have missions, and so sometimes you're assisting, sometimes you're leading, and the refueling missions usually lie at the back next to the boom operator, and you fly alongside with the pilot in the jump seats. But when we used to land at Fairford Air Force Base, which is outside of Cirencester or Oxford, those were just supply missions, if you will.
That's tremendous. And just going back to your family history, your grandfathers, what sort of suffering and hardships did they go through to give you a better life and all this opportunity? We often forget that our forefathers, they lived in a very different world and travelled on ships, often for months. Can you tell us about the stories that you heard about your family's hardships?
Yeah, it's I think every family that has what I would say the good fortune of spending time with their grandparents that went through what I would call the American Indian version of a trail of tears, leaving what is now Pakistan, coming to the Punjab side, telling the stories of having to leave everything and starting all over, picking up the pieces, serving in the military, and then making their way into the factories of London or in early days of Southall, having to live in one bedroom, 10 to 15 people, and having to just be appreciative of roti, the simple pleasures. And they would instill into us, the younger generation, what they had to go through. And no different than when my other set of grandparents came to California. We worked the land. We came here with a silver spoon, picking peaches, strawberries. We appreciate what this land provides, and it's not forgotten on me. Looking to my left, looking to my right, the early forefathers that paved the way for folks like me to have a better opportunity. And thus, it's imprinted in not only in my memories, but in my soul.
And you left the military, but you still have an attachment to the USA military, and you're still involved, and you're a Legionnaire. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, the Legionnaire was enacted by Congress 100 years ago tomorrow, both in the United Kingdom as a Royal British Legionnaire and here as the American Legionnaire. So we're a standing force that in the event of war, that we are trained as veterans, and then we can obviously assist. But in peacetime, we contribute in the community, helping the elderly, helping the children, helping folks who cannot help themselves. And in my case, I'm the captain of the Honor Guard here in Santa Clara County. I'm also the service officer, so helping them with benefits, getting them with resources that they may need from mortal injuries or what we call invisible injuries, whether they're traumatic brain injuries or post-traumatic stress disorder. So we have the wherewithal, the resources, and in the Legionnaire capacity, we've got the outreach programs to help folks who really need that help.
That's tremendous. So you're still actively involved in serving the community. And is this your form of Seva, giving back to the community?
It's one form of Seva. As a military man, you know, it goes without saying, especially in our history of Sikhism, when you're giving water to both friend, bless you, on the battlefield, to both friend and the enemy. I mean, we're looking at humans. We're looking at your fellow man. And that's the same vantage point, same vein. If I can help through what I've been given as gifts of education, of service, and in a military capacity, I can relate to other military men. Military men who are suffered from wars and campaigns will not talk to pastors, priests, grantees, family, spouses, but they will talk to a Legionnaire, knowing that they have similarities. It's like a fellow comrade, a brother in arms.
Like a band of brothers, have shared the same experiences and difficulties. And looking forward, you've also got some Native American friends. You told me earlier about Native Americans. Can you tell us about your friendship with them and how they want to find out more about your own Sikh faith and your background?
As you can imagine, it's a great question. In America, the Native Americans have a deep affinity to this land. And like I described earlier, if you've ever farmed this land, you touch the soil, you know what that means to you. It kind of gets into your blood, your DNA. And there's a sense of spirit of what Native Americans have been, what I would say, accustomed to. And when I was in the service, I joined when I was 17. A lot of the American GIs said, "Oh, which tribe are you from? Are you Cherokee? Are you Apache? Are you Navajo?" I go, "I'm from Punjab, the Sikh tribe." They go, "What is that?" And so it's an education and an awareness. And from there, we can talk about what the Sikh community does. And it's the same thing for the Native Americans. They are very intrigued about Sikhism because it's a warrior type of spirit that we have to serve and to give. And the alignment of that, we're going to do podcasts. We're going to share the similarities that we have. And that notion of giving, not only giving back to the community, but giving back to Mother Nature, healing, repairing, planting, farming, which Sikhs, we all know what that means as farmers and warriors.
Sikh Channel will be very pleased to support any initiatives that you take on and progress to engage other communities and tell them about the Sikh faith and bring communities together. So we'll be very happy to support you. And Sunny, your family are from the Punjab. You're very proud of your Punjabi Sikh background and you've kept that connection as well. We'll speak about that shortly. But before I ask you about your visits to the Punjab, you're from Punjab, born in Southall in the UK, but lived most of your life in the US. Are you an American? Are you a Punjabi? Are you a British? Where do you feel your identity and your roots?
That's a great question, and I wouldn't have been able to answer that until about 2 months ago. I'll just share my personal experience on what it means. Growing up in England, there were a lot of riots. There's a lot of racism, at least when I was there. And you weren't always welcomed as a Sikh, as a brown boy. You always had to fight to stand up for yourself. And then there's this term, when I went to India the first time, they appreciate you, but you're not born there. So you have a different kind of a language, a different dialect. And you come to America, and you go, maybe I'll be accepted here. And as a 17-year-old, when I joined the military, you're still forming your identity. And when the military puts you into their discipline, you're a military man. But once you come out, you're still trying to find that identity. Am I British? Am I an American? Am I from Punjab, an Indian from my heritage? And as I struggled quite a bit. Because as a military man, the question I had to ask myself, if that was a fellow Sikh on the other side of the battlefield, what would my moral compass say if he were on the enemy side? As a 17-year-old, I used to ask myself that question. If that was my cousins, my family, not unlike the Civil War in America, family versus family. So long story short, I'm proud of being first and foremost a human being. I look at people, how can I help? Tall, short, whatever age you may be, male, female, I look at you as a fellow human sharing this journey. I'm honored to be part of the Sikh heritage and culture, and I appreciate my language. I'm also honored to be born and raised in England. I am a British citizen and an American citizen, so dual citizen. I am a Royal British Legionnaire and an American Legionnaire. But first and foremost, I would have to say I'm an American.
Is that because you've had the opportunity and this country has given you so much to excel and grow?
They will test your character. They will test you as a man or a woman of what your foundation, what your core is. And when you've been squeezed, and when you've, let's just say, challenged, both personally, professionally, culturally, religion, and physically, and you see there are good people. And in my case, the veteran community really helped me when I was challenged, and they lifted me up. And so what I do is to give back to the community. And what you really find is your fellow man. And if we're here able to serve, and this is a nation in progress, you know, we're a melting pot. And we have our good parts and bad parts, but we're striving to progress. And as we progress, we hope to bring the heritage of my Sikh faith or my British background along with it.
That's tremendous. So you're taking the best of all your background has to give, and you're merging it into almost a new identity. And in this new era of Trump, and we hear a lot in the UK about the politics and the political scene and the division and polarization. Do you think Trump is good or bad, or it doesn't really change things for Americans?
I think there's a lot smarter people than me that can answer that question. As a military man, as a legionnaire, our first and foremost service is to defend our fellow man, defend our country. And with that narrative, whether it's the president, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of State, the cabinet, the government, whether it's President Obama, President Trump, we defend the country. General Mattis, our current Secretary of Defense, kind of aligned with him. We protect our borders, and within the borders, we help our fellow human beings.
It's tremendous. And earlier we spoke, and I was very pleased that you've kept a connection to your Punjabi, your own village, to Punjab, your relatives, to your Sikh faith. Can you tell us about your trips? You do go back to the Punjab, and you also help to serve your local community and your village. Is it the Dosanjh village you're from?
Yes, we call it Dosanjh, right? And I was fortunate that my grandfather, Balwant Singh Dosanjh, and his older brother, Dharam Singh Dosanjh, I recorded them about 18 years ago. I made a video, and I go, tell me about the history of our Pind. And, he talked about his father, Bajant Singh Dosanjh, son of Anand Singh Dosanjh, son of Bhutta Singh, House of Jassu, Makandi, and then all the way down to Baisang or Babasang Gurdwara. And so even the name, Dosanjh, and we dissected it, and when I go back to Dosanjh, it's been a long time, but I have fond memories of the fields, the farm, the small village. Time stood still. And it's no different than when I go to my Nanke, Chak Maglani, near the Koldar, and the Singera family. So it's in the DNA. When you walk with your grandfathers through the fields, they go, Kaka, Pulina Samnu. you know.
And what about your family and your children? Will they have that same feeling and connection, or are they becoming more distant as time goes on and more settled and cut off from the Punjab?
I don't know about being cut off. I think with the advent of technology and social media, it's really for folks like me to encourage them and make them aware of their heritage and have the opportunity to get immersed. Food, music, sometimes it's movies, but contribute to that mosaic. That's an art form of Punjab, if you will. And then if we guide them, maybe they'll start asking the questions about the history and about the sacrifices and the contribution of the Sikh folk all around the world. So I instill them, but I don't force it. I let them be attracted to it, and the only way I can do that is be a symbol of that in my deeds, not so much in my words.
That's tremendous. And looking forward, you've achieved a lot, Sonny Dosanjh, in your life. You've contributed a lot to society, to your country, the US of A. You've also worked in technology. Looking forward, what are your plans and what do you want to achieve? And do you have any markers, or are you quite content now that you've done everything you wanted to achieve in your life? Is there more to come?
Oh, absolutely. And the key word is progression. I think we evolve, and you're in the heart of Silicon Valley. I've been here quite a while. I actually had conversations with Mr. Packard, we're from Hewlett-Packard, and the first CEOs of HP, John Young, and the first president, Lou Platt. And so when you're surrounded by great leaders, and they instill with you a sense of purpose, a sense of responsibility, you've been given these gifts of high tech. I've traveled the world, I've done the most amazing projects, some of the biggest projects that you see around the globe in cybersecurity. We contributed to building part of the internet. And here in Silicon Valley, we're entrepreneurs. We never settle. We keep progressing and evolving. So that's all I do. I can't screw in a light bulb, but I can design these technologies and these solutions. So I'm taking what I've learned, and I'm going to apply that to veterans. We're working with, as I mentioned, artificial intelligence, and we're bringing that to the forefront to not only help veterans, but maybe can help children who are suffering from some traumatic brain injuries or the elderly.
Sonny, we've got some historic and important dates coming up. Next year is 550 years since the birth of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and we are celebrating the Gurpur 550 years. There'll be big celebrations in Pakistan and all around the world. There's also 10 years of Sikh Channel. Sikh Channel started in 2009. 2019 is a big year for us. But also we've got the 100-year centenary remembrance of the end of World War I, the Great War. And you mentioned the statue in Birmingham, which Sikh Channel have assisted with and helped to cover, and all the community supported to bring that statue about. And it's a time of remembrance, and we remember all the sacrifices. And I know you're also involved in the remembrance services of the 100 years.
Absolutely. There's actually an initiative. I'm actually reaching out to all the universities and colleges here in the Bay Area because they've got veteran service communities, and we're putting together a World War I effort to really recognize the sacrifices that were made. As you well know, in the United Kingdom, a lot of Sikhs fought in the trenches. A lot of them died and sacrificed for a cause greater than themselves. So folks like myself who wear the uniform, we don't forget that sacrifice and commitment. And so to honor that memory, to honor that legacy, and how we can then reach out to communities across different culture, different nationalities, and really contribute to the remembrance of that. And tomorrow being the historic anniversary, 100 years, not only the armistice, end of World War I, but the founding of the Royal British Legion and the American Legion. It's an historic moment. And for us to then be remembering it and then actually dedicating some memorials to that. And I think what's being done in Birmingham and other parts of the United Kingdom, as well as around the globe, is a real good way to start that initiative, and then we can follow suit with the Sikh communities.
Thank you very much, Sonny. And finally, we'd like to say congratulations for all you've done in terms of serving the military, carrying on the Sikh tradition of our Sikhs are a martial race. my grandfather and your grandfathers fought in the world wars and contributed so much to many, many different causes for other people. And we have a lot of sacrifice throughout the Sikh history, going back to the start of the Sikh history in terms of giving our lives in battle for righteousness and not for any gain or to assert ourselves or to convert people, nothing like that. We've always fighted in defence of people, and we'd like to keep that message going forward. It's important to see recognition, particularly for the younger generation to come, so it's not forgotten. So I think your initiative and the work you do is so important. We'd like to support you from Sikh Channel. Anything we can do for you, please do let us know.
No, I appreciate that, and what you're doing with the Sikh Channel, this is tremendous. And as soon as I explain what you just described, we defend those who can't defend themselves. We will stand up. We show courage. There are certain symbols in our history and in our legacy that we stand by. We don't back down. And if something is being done wrong to an elder, to somebody who cannot defend themselves, we will stand, whether
Other
it's...
communities.
Exactly. Once they sense that, they go, wow, I want to learn more. They want to learn about our culture, our food, our music, what do we do for fun. And what I didn't mention, I'm the Bay Area lead for We Honor Veterans. I sit by their bedside. Sometimes they have nobody. Sometimes they want to get something off their chest from the wars. And I affix a pin. I give them this pin. I give them a certificate of recognition, and I read a poem. And then I'll render a hand salute. And typically, they may have a week left. Sometimes it's that day that they pass away. Where that grace comes from, to look at a fellow veteran who's about to pass, is beyond me. It's greater than anything I could do as a human. So I liken it to the Sikhism, the light, the teachings of Guru Nanak and all the Das Guru, the Seva. And in that moment, it's not about me. It's about what you can give to somebody who's about to pass on. And what I try to share with them is that they're not alone. There's love, sentiment to our fellow human being. And the program is called We Honor Veterans, and I'm the Bay Area lead for that. So not only do we recognize them in life, but when we do the Honor Guard, which I'm the captain of the Honor Guard, we fire the volleys, we play taps, we fold the American flag, to really, for the family and the community, to recognize a warrior that has lived his life in that capacity.
That's tremendous service. Thank you very much, Sonny. We're very proud of you, all the Sikh Channel team and the Sikh community worldwide. Very proud of the work you do. Please continue, and we hope to keep in touch and have regular updates from you. And as I said, we're pleased to support your good work and help educate other communities, particularly about the Sikh faith. Thank you very much for joining the Sikh Channel.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Khalsa.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Fateh. Hello, this is Sunny Dosanjh here with the Sikh Channel, celebrating the 10-year anniversary. But we're also recognizing the 550th anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji coming into this world. So hope you can join the Sikh Channel as they promote more shows and promotions. Thank you.